don't bother, Uncle, not in this awful heat.
But, my dear...
Besides, you're late for your meeting already. Mr. Cobb will help me with my things.
You're a very thoughtful girl, Fiona.
It's been a lovely holiday, Uncle.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Give my love to your mother.
I will. And I'll write to you from Sydney.
Fine.
Thanks.
Yeah?
Thank you.
You traveling to Sydney, ma'am?
Well, if I don't melt first.
That'll be cooler on the road. Mr. Cobb's just stepped down to the hotel. He said he'd be ready to leave in about 5 minutes. You sound as if you'd be glad to see the last of the place.
I thought our holiday in the Outback would be full of excitements.
Instead, it's just full of flies. That gentleman who rode up with you, wasn't that Mr. Lufton?
My uncle.
Oh. Well, being county magistrate, I should have thought he would have been able to find excitement enough for you.
Well, there were 2 hangings last week, but I wasn't allowed to go.
Oh. I thought it was something a little more in the social vein.
Vein is right. A sluggish stream of tired old bloods.
What about boys your own age?
Well, as far as plagues are concerned, I preferred the flies.
Miss Merrick?
Yes?
Mr. Cobb's compliments, ma'am, and he's ready if you are.
More than ready.
The stage is leaving from the hotel. It'll save you a walk in this heat.
Oh, I've never been so glad to see the last of a place. Isn't the hotel back that way?
That's right.
Oh, look, that's the coach back at the depot.
Whoa. She's late.
Come back, we'll miss it.
I shouldn't be surprised. Miss Merrick, I'm going to show you some excitement.
Someone help!
4 hours, Cobb, but not a word. You still say they went out for a pleasure ride?
No, not anymore.
My police have covered both roads out of this town, and they've seen no one. Now, my niece has been kidnapped, and I'm holding you totally to blame, Cobb.
That's not fair.
Why wasn't someone on duty at the office?
Well, I tried to explain that to you before. Our man was hit from behind. We found him back at the office.
And he saw nothing?
I don't know. He was dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. That means we're dealing with murderers.
Well, Mr. Lufton, you're the one who saw the man at the depot.
Oh, I paid no attention to him. I was very upset about my niece Fiona leaving. She's very close to me.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't stay around long enough to see her safely aboard the coach.
No, don't you try to shift the onus onto me, Cobb. My niece insisted that I shouldn't stay around in that dreadful heat. My heart isn't very strong. But you're to blame, all right, Cobb, and you know it. It's typical of your negligence.
What do you mean by negligence?
Criminal negligence. Why, you don't have sufficient guards on your coaches. How many robberies have occurred in this area in the past few months,
That's not our fault. Whose job is it to keep the roads patrolled?
And that's enough.
You two are in enough trouble already without making any libelous accusations. Mr. Cobb, as of this moment, your transport franchise is canceled.
Canceled? I've got contracts.
You heard what I said.
Sir,
Yes, what is it?
the buggy, sir. They found it in the inland road.
And?
It had been left behind.
Well, nothing else?
It has Miss Merrick's initials on it.
It's blood. Find her.
Chris, do you really think Lufton meant it about stopping our franchise?
You blame him?
Yeah, in a way I do. As magistrate, he's supposed to be responsible for law and order in the district.
With what, that pack of tin soldiers?
Well, that's what I mean. He runs a private bodyguard, not a police force. No wonder these thugs think they can get away with murder. This'll mean a big loss for you, won't it?
Yeah. As well as breaking contracts with a lot of people who depend on us.
Maybe if we could find this girl.
Tell me where to start. We've got nothing to go on.
If only somebody had seen this guy who picked her up.
Dan, someone did see him. Must have.
What?
Right over there. Character with a pet cockatoo. He must have seen the whole thing. Do you remember him?
No. Would you know him again?
how many people with pet cockatoos can there be around here? Come on. Can we have a word with you?
Yes, I've been sort of expecting you, Mr. Cobb.
People said you spend quite a bit of time down here.
Oh, yes, I've got a nice little place here, shallows, and this shallows, soft by banks of moss, dappled with the leafy sun, reflected now, but by a stone is lost. That's Joy.
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, no, I meant her. Name's Joy.
Oh. You said you were expecting me, Mr.
Bradley, two of them.
Hmm?
Bradley. First and last. My mother wasn't what you'd call an inventive woman, Mr. Cobb. And I guess she was tired, too, that day.
Well, Bradley, a young woman was kidnapped from outside my office this morning.
Oh, yes, I thought it was a shame at the time. Very pretty little thing.
Well, then it was you across the street?
Yes, I took Joy up there for her lunch. She likes pecking around outside the corn exchange.
Chris.
Wait a minute. She rode off with a man who was also waiting outside the
Yeah,
office.
with the crocodile suitcase. I couldn't help wondering what he'd use that for in the bush.
Then you recognize him?
The man with the crocodile suitcase?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I went into his hut once when he wasn't there. Name's Rake Darkner.
Darkner. Chris, it couldn't be.
Oh, that's what it said on the wanted notice for murder. It's got it nailed right up over his bed. Pretty showy, I thought.
They're the same man?
Oh, the picture was the spitting image of him.
It does kind of fit.
Yeah, it sure does. Sudden rush of robberies in the area. Clever ones, too. Where did you see this Darkner?
Well, he's got a hut in the bush near where I take one of my walks. Oh, very nice birds down there.
Can you show us where it is?
No, I don't think I should.
Well, Bradley, this girl's life is in danger.
She's Mr. Lufton's niece, isn't she,
Yes.
the magistrate?
Yes.
Yes, he doesn't like birds. He thinks I should go to work.
Bradley, if you
Yes.
help us find this girl, you'll never have to work again in your life.
Oh, but I wouldn't want to get mixed up with the law or anything like that. I should have to ask Mr. Lufton's permission first.
All right, come on.
Yes.
Cobb, don't you have any feelings? Bringing this fellow here, when Fiona may be laying...
He's the only lead we've got.
Yes, but he's totally irresponsible. Why, I've had him thrown in jail half a dozen times on vagrancy charges.
Yeah, but he was there. He's the only one who saw the man.
But you don't seem to understand. This fellow would lie his own mother into the grave for a sixpence.
I told you, he doesn't like birds.
Now, you get out of here. Do you hear me? Get out before I have you
Mr.
thrown
Lupton,
out.
if you'll let me have some men, I'll lead a search myself.
No, that's quite impossible. All my men are out on the inland road.
Well, that buggy up there might have been a blind, you know.
I prefer evidence to his word.
Well, then come with us yourself.
No, I'm afraid I can't. All the reports will be coming in here.
Well, Bradley won't take me to this place he knows about without some kind of official approval.
I've got it, Mr. Cobb. Complete approval. Yes, oh, not from him. But my mind is made up. You see, Mr. Cobb, there is only one animal that I hate in all the kingdom. The dingo. The yellow dog. An ugly yellow, a bitter yellow. Dingo. The coward with a name like Bells. Are you ready, Mr. Cobb? There it is, see?
I think we better wait till nightfall. Dan, why don't you scout through those bushes?
Quiet. There's someone following us.
Well, how do you know?
I can hear them.
Something frightened them, all right.
Could be just some animal.
No, I know them. They only cry like that when there's a human being around. You stay here. I can tread softly.
Do you think it's Darkner?
Bradley?
Something's been dragged through here.
It's leading back toward Darkner's hut. Come on.
Bradley, what is it? Drop your guns. Careful. Yes, I wanted to meet you too, Mr. Cobb, but drop your guns first.
Mr. Cobb, Mr. Rake Darkner. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning.
Ah, did you sleep well?
Did you?
Oh, yes. Well, it's nice to be home again with the family. How's my Joey this morning? Joey had a bad paw last week. Just let me see that. Oh, yes, it's healing beautifully.
Listen,
Yes.
St. Francis, why did you bring us here?
Oh, that was Rake's idea. Better here than there.
Where's Miss Mary?
I told you last night she was safe.
Yeah, well, I want to see for myself.
Yes, you will in a moment. She'll be fetching breakfast.
What happens if her parents don't pay the ransom?
Oh, Rake wouldn't hurt her. Mr. Cobb, you can tell him he loves animals so much.
Mm-hmm. Bradley, what do you know about him?
Oh, he's good to me. He looks after me and the family in return for such little things.
Little things like being an accessory to kidnapping or maybe even murder?
Aren't the colors beautiful? Those tubular. The colors almost hurt, don't they, Mr. Cobb?
Bradley, can you imagine what her parents must be going through?
Ah, but they're people, Mr. Cobb.
And you don't like people.
Not like these. People can be so mean. My animals wouldn't hurt anybody. They're full of love and respect and companionship.
Bradley, I feel the same way.
Oh, do you, Mr. Cobb?
Quiz.
You all right? Here you go, Joey. I don't want you to worry. I think I know a way we can get out of here.
How?
Well, I think with a little encouragement, Bradley will give us a hand. See, he doesn't realize that...
Darling. Rake, do you trust Bradley?
Why?
Well, Cobb said he thought Bradley would help him escape.
Oh, don't be silly.
Well, do you trust him?
The point is, do you trust me?
Miss Merrick,
Now that sounds as if you've heard.
will you just explain, please?
Oh, I'm sorry you bothered to come, that's all.
Bothered. You know that Dan Ledward and I risked our necks trying to get you out of here.
Mr. Cobb, I'm sorry to puncture your heroics, but they do sound a little silly, sung from inside a bird cage.
Well, you just don't know what you've gotten yourself into. You don't know Rake Darkner.
Mr. Cobb, I know Rake a great deal better than you do.
What do you think this is? Some silly, romantic schoolgirl adventure?
What do you think it is?
I think it's a spoiled, naive little rich girl being handled by an expert.
You're lucky this is in between us, Mr. Cobb.
Well, you're not, Miss Merrick. You're unlucky all the way around. Rake Darkner's a sadistic killer. Probably bash his mother's head in for the...
Go on, Mr. Cobb.
Well, what about your parents and your uncle?
Well, Mummy knows I'm all right. I wrote to them in Sydney, told them I was fine, but they'd better hurry and send the money.
You wrote?
Well, they can afford it. Besides, it's a much nicer way of getting ransom. I told them to send it to Uncle Arnold, and he'll bring it to us here.
Us? Oh, do you know what's going to happen to you when Rake Darkner gets that money?
I know exactly, Mr. Cobb. We're taking a ship to Europe. You see, Rake and I are going to be married.
Well, even if we could get out of this zoo, there's still the problem of the girl.
And if we are going to get her back, she'd have to be kidnapped all over again.
It'll take a lot more violence than last time.
Chris, what about old Uncle Lufton? If he brings the ransom money, maybe he'll have something up his sleeve.
Sure, fat arms.
Well, we can always fight fire with fire.
What fire with what fire?
Well, Miss Merrick went right overboard for Darkner, just like that, like real sudden. Well, sometimes if you can't win with common sense, you can...
You know, you're going to strangle yourself in a minute.
Chris, well, what I mean is, you're a pretty well set up guy. And I thought...
You did strangle yourself.
Well, it's for our own good. Anyway, it's better than Darkner.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you think of something.
Mr. Cobb.
Go on.
The water cooled me off a bit. Ingratitude is a horrid form of bad manners. I'm sorry.
I guess I was interfering.
You were only doing what you thought best for me.
I wasn't being entirely gallant. Your uncle, I guess he's right. Blames me for what happened. He canceled my franchise in the district.
You're very honest.
I'd like to be, Fiona. Honest.
Not advice.
No, just a prophecy. Break Darkner's gonna hurt you.
Sooner or later, I'll probably hurt him.
And when he does, franchise or not, I'd like to help. Even if it does sound like heroics from a birdcage.
I'll remember. I'm not that naive.
It looks like it worked.
Oh, yes, he looks fine. I think he likes you, you know.
Uncle Arnold, don't be afraid. Everything's all right.
Fiona, thank God you're safe, child. You can put that away. I came alone.
But not empty-handed, I hope.
Oh, it's all here. Well, the great Mr. Cobb. So your search was successful, eh?
Well done.
Please, Uncle Arnold. They did their best.
Now listen, Dave, get inside and get packed. I'll have you home safely inside a week.
Uncle Arnold, there's something I have to
You
tell
heard him. Get packed.
Ray? Well, tell him. Tell him, Ray.
Tell him what?
About the ship. Us.
Fiona!
She's hysterical, the thought of going home, you know. Jake, get her out of here.
No. You meant nothing. None of it.
Jake, will you get her out of here? Let's get this settled. The sooner the better.
Name's Joy. Say hello to Mr. Lufton. You what? Say hello to Mr. Lufton.
Bradley, come here, will you?
Yes, what's the matter?
Well, I don't know. It's his paw, the way he's holding it. Maybe he's got a thorn in it or something.
Well, there's your share. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rick, I'd like to see you dead for this.
You know, she's beautiful when she's angry. Seems almost too much to be paid for it as well.
Shut up, will you? I'll get that thing away from me.
Fiona! Open up. All right. You two better get started. Yes.
And Bradley.
I'm sorry about your uncle, Fiona.
It explains a lot, doesn't it?
Hmm.
The robberies, No wonder Rake was so successful. Oh, look. All the other animals are gone, all except her. She's different from the others. She'll need a home.
Yes, she will. Dan, why don't you take her?
I guess I'll need a home too, Mr. Cobb.
What about your parents in Sydney?
After what I've done, I shouldn't think they'd want me back. Chris, you said you'd help me once. I'm alone now.
How can I help?
Said Neil seems so tame after this. I think I could learn to love it here in the outback.
Fiona, I don't think the Outback's big enough to hold you.
Chris?
And it won't seem as tame in Sydney as you think. As a matter of fact, I'm going to recommend something to your father that'll warm things up for you quite a bit.
Oh? What, Chris?
The back of a hairbrush. Now, come on.